Welcome back to the DNA Pest Control Podcast recap episode.
Morning edition.
Back to Free Talk Friday. Remember that?
Ooh.
Were you here for that?
No, I've seen some past episodes with that though.
Oh man, yeah, that was a fun one.
So what are we talking about today?
More of a joke than fun. So today is actually one of the recap, and it's stuff that we've talked about. We've never actually jumped back into and have done, but I really like going back because some of these recap episodes, or this one is going to be from 2020, I think.
4 years ago.
Yeah. So it was off of Work Harder, Not Smarter. Mm-hmm. And work smarter, not harder. Okay. I got that.
Good catch.
Yeah, good catch. Yeah, it hit me afterwards. And the idea behind that is most people, think movement is progression. They think movement, the harder I move, the more I move. It's not the gym, mm-hmm. right? Life isn't the gym. Mm-hmm. You go to the gym, you're trying to work hard. You're not trying to work smart in the gym. Mm-hmm. That's not the idea, right? Yeah. You're trying to put up as much weight as you can. You're going high reps, depending on what you want to do to your body. That's the idea.
Yeah.
Like that is the whole point of the gym. You're creating stress on your body to build a bigger muscle mm-hmm. or to build a faster muscle or whatever, mm-hmm. right? Just depends on what your goal is.
Yeah.
But the idea is working hard, not smart. Mm-hmm. You're not going to the gym and trying to leverage weight so you can lift up 500 pounds with little effort.
Yeah.
That's not the idea. Mm-hmm. You want to take on as much of that weight as possible to put that stress on you.
Right.
As a technician, as office staff, as management, as a company, the idea is actually to alleviate that stress and alleviate that weight. And you're trying to work as efficiently as possible with as little stress. Now, that episode being 3-4 years ago, we were still running on a lot of the older stuff. We didn't have what we have today. And I've talked about it a million times over the past, is pest control changes. Mm-hmm. We are an old industry. I mean, even chemical companies that sell to pest control companies are old. I'm really.
Yeah.
You go on their website and it's garbage. We got Amazon, guys. We got eBay. We've had eBay for over a decade.
Yeah.
Like, what are you guys doing with this old style of a website and just the, I'll throw him under the bus because I know he's going to listen to this episode, but they just got purchased by another company. I won't give out details. I don't want to throw them completely under the bus, but this company's a big company. They're not a small company, mm-hmm. and they just came to the West Coast. I created an online account and they didn't get it. They didn't get my online information, and it takes 24 hours to create my account. Why?
It's so painful.
Why does it take so long?
Yeah.
I could go on to Amazon right now and create an account in probably about 5 to 10 minutes mm-hmm. and start purchasing today.
Get it delivered today.
In minutes.
Yeah.
It's just insane. Mm-hmm. But that's where it is we've grown so much, and there's so much more that we have today and techniques today that you're now going to be able to work smarter, not harder. And in some of this, guys, is we are going to go through kind of the office setting. We didn't do that on the last episode. We didn't go through different departments of a company. We focus really heavily on technicians and how they can work smarter, not harder. Mm. And today, a big one is we're going to hit multiple different categories, and we're going to start with the office. Because a lot of that, which is going to trickle down into the technicians, that's a reflection of it. Now, if the office is working smarter and the technicians are working smarter and management's working smarter, it makes everything so much smoother. And if everyone's on the same page. We got to actually see a little bit of it yesterday is office jumped on something they saw on your day, moved it over to another guy. That guy ended up doing it with a little pushback, which is good. And that created about, 2 hours to free you up.
More, honestly.
Or more. Yeah. And we were able to do other things during that time.
Yeah.
And he got everything done and got a full day's worth of work.
Yep.
It was amazing.
And we got caught up in here.
Right? So it's those things that create that smarter, not harder work that helps. So let's jump into the office.
Yeah.
I'll throw you out there. What have you seen to create or to help the office work smarter? I don't want to focus on the harder things and what they do to create.
Sure.
But, what are some of those tips that you've seen to be able to handle those, whatever it may be in the office to create that smarter, not harder?
Yeah, I think collections and billing is kind of one that gets overlooked a lot. Whether whatever software system you have that processes payments or sends out notices, usually, at least the one that we use, there's some oversight that we can go in there to customize, like when certain notices are sent out, putting specific notes in the appointment, or you going through certain guys' days where they have a lot of customers that have a past due where if we get there, we can't service. What are you doing in the meantime to prevent those headaches? Are you cleaning up notes? I mean, notes are a huge one that we've been pushing on the technician side, going back to the office, and it's like a two-way street, right? Because boots on the ground technicians have to relay that information. Office puts that in there on their account. Different tech comes out. Everything works well.
Yeah.
A lot of these examples are going to be kind of smaller things that add up over a long period of time.
Yeah.
But attention to detail. I mean, we talk about it a ton.
Yeah. Well, and that's exactly right. We actually did it. We went through and we didn't clean up notes for a couple years. And then there was a point where it was like, okay, we got to have help from the techs and we got to do this. And it was a big job. It was a really big job. Now it's just part of life. And we get a red note here or there, to say, hey, change this note. You got to add this note onto this account. Yeah. And it's once every couple of days, maybe, when we did it, it was literally 5 to 10 every single day, for weeks on end. And then it's slowed down, but that is, it is that. And then when a technician goes out there, a new guy, which is cool, there's no question. They're not wondering where this bait station is or what to do here or how to do that there. It's done, so it takes that hard work out of it and makes it smart. A big one is, are you handling the customer in the moment or are you calling them back?
That's a good one.
And it's a huge, huge one that the office is creating. They're stagnant. They go in, they answer the phone call, they get a complaint. Let me talk to someone. I'll call you back. Even though they could answer it and they know the answer, then they go to management. Hey, this person called. They give the whole backstory. Can I do this? And then they got to go back and call and see if the person's okay with it. And if the person's not okay with it, then they say, can I call you back? And it's this massive back and forth.
And they don't pick up, and then they call back when you're not there. And it's just this whole nightmare.
Well, we had one, we're doing a quality control check on a guy up in an area. And we've called him, set appointments. He's rescheduled. And then we do another one and he reschedules and it's like, hey, look, we're doing a free service for you. We're helping you. Call us when you're ready.
Yeah.
You want us to come out and help? We'll come out and help. We plan this day. You're canceling this day. You've canceled the last day. You canceled the day before, and in that sense, that's when the office needs to say, you call me. I'm not calling you anymore. I've already called you. I'm wasting my time. Call me when you're ready. We'll get everything set. We'll get it all good to go because he's going out of town. Call us after when you get back. So we don't have to think about it anymore.
Yeah.
Those are the little things that the office can do. Are you handling the customer in a timely manner? The first phone call, not the fifth, because you're just wasting your time. And then in some instances when they need a schedule, they need a call back, they need something taken care of. Are you telling them, call me?
Yeah.
I'm not going to call you. You want to schedule your appointment or you need to do this or you want whatever it is, you call me. Turn it around and put it back on them. Don't create 50 million notes or tasks for yourself in the future to call these people because you're just creating hard work, not smart.
Yeah.
Make them call you. Now, office staff, If your management is saying otherwise, well, do it otherwise. I'm saying here, I don't want that. I want you to be more proactive, and I push it back onto the customer. Even when a customer tries to reschedule and they say, I'll call you in to reschedule, I tell them, if you don't call within a week, the scheduler is going to schedule you automatically. Just so you know, it's just going to happen. That's just part of the rule book here. Yeah. Okay. So you can call me back and we'll get you scheduled, but you may already be pre-scheduled at that point, just so you know. And you know what most people say? Oh, okay, that's fine. And then I say, yeah, you'll just get another notification. Yeah.
Simple as that.
Yeah, just so you're preventing anything from, well, call me or I'll call you, or you're in this weird limbo. That's, it is what it is. Yeah. And I'll hit real quick on collections. You're right. On collections, staying on top of it. But are you putting a note in there? And this now is going to kind of transition into the text. Are you putting a note on that appointment card to let the technician know, hey, collect payment prior to service? Because techs that don't collect, well, now you have to collect. And if you didn't collect on the very first phone call or interaction with that customer, which you should have, now the technician has to. And if they don't, now you have to. Now you've had 3 opportunities, or now you have to have 3 contacts with this person to collect something that you could have collected from the very first contact. Yeah. And putting your foot down sometimes is hard, but you have to. And some people don't like doing that.
Yeah, but you said it perfectly. It's just the longer you wait, the stronger the wind gets that you're like running against. It's like it's an uphill battle. It gets steeper and steeper, and then you're calling them, and then you get a hold of the wife, not the husband. The wife's like, "Wait, what am I paying for? Like, what's going on? Why do I have a past due? Why am I getting these notices?" And the husband's like, "Oh, I gave them my card." You know what I mean? It just turns into this whole thing that if you did it correctly in the beginning. And I think that's a common theme I was picking up from when you were talking about the office. It's making decisions is crucial, like making quick, smart decisions in the moment and executing that and creating less work is kind of the theme, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, that's exactly call centers. You want to go big, let's go big, right? Let's talk about massive credit card companies. You call into there, you have a dispute. How quick is it to dispute a charge?
Pretty quick.
It's almost instant. Yeah. There's so much you can do, and what they've tried to do is exactly that, right? They're trying to make this entire process very, very simple, very smart. Yeah. And that's what everybody's trying to do, is how efficient can we become? And that's what it is. Are you handling that in the moment and taking that out of the customer's hands and taking it away out of their mind, and it's done, it's over with. You've already completed it. Yeah. You don't have to create a task to go back and complete again. It's already done in the moment. And that's actually, there's a viral video, and Jeff Bezos talks about stress. Why people have stress is because it's something you're not taking care of in the moment. The quicker you take care of something in the moment, you're not thinking about that thing. It's already done. Your mind's clear. Yeah. Now your mind is open to think about other things or to handle more, something better. But are you holding yourself back? Are you creating a task and a task and a task, and now you have a mountain of things to do, and you're like, well, crap, where do I even start? It's just get it done now. Yeah. You don't have anything else to do. Get all those things done now in the moment. Customer calls, if you get them done now in the moment, you don't have to talk to them again. It's done. And it's amazing what it does, but everything goes away. Yeah. But that goes into scheduling too, and that will now affect a technician. Whoever is scheduling and planning out their days, are you clustering appointments together, or are you making it all spread apart? Do you have 1 million different time frames in 100 different areas? It's going to be hard to complete those tasks in a timely manner. Yeah. Now sometimes it doesn't always work that way. especially in the beginning. You're small. You have to cover multiple cities and you're one guy. I get that. But can you at least do it in order?
Yeah.
Can you be in one city and hit 5 accounts and then go to another little town and hit 5 accounts? That's working smarter. Yeah. But it all goes back to the office and who's planning that. As a tech, sometimes you can't choose how your day is necessary, in order. But you can choose how you do it. Now don't go against everybody, because sometimes they'll plan certain things in a certain order. So you need to get on the same page as whoever's scheduling.
Yeah.
But once you get on the same page with that person, you can pretty much do it how you want, as long as you're in communication. If you're deliberately going out of order to create an 8-hour, 9-hour, 10-hour day, well, you're going against it, and that's not working smarter.
Yeah.
And you are eventually going to get talked to, reprimanded, and you're going to have bigger problems. But going to the technicians, what's a way to do that? How do you work smarter? You're dealing more with the technicians now, and what have you seen to help progress that day and make it go quick? Because sometimes you have a crazy-ass day. And it's like you have to do everything smart.
Yeah.
You can't work hard in this moment.
Yeah. It's planning.
Okay.
In the past, I was not really a good planner. And I think as a technician, someone who is over the technicians, I think planning is very overlooked, and that can look a couple different ways. Usually the night before, guys, you should be checking your routes for the next day. I mean, if you're not aware of where you're going, what time you have to be there, what you're doing, if you just wake up and get surprised by your day, you're already a step behind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know how early or late a lot of companies start out there. Here, unless it's a commercial account, most guys start around 7 to 8, But some guys are specified like, hey, you have to be at this appointment between 6 a.m. and 7 a.m. because the restaurant lobby opens at 8:30 or whatever the situation is.
Yeah.
And you always talk about this too, about actually pre-planning your stops in either Google or Apple Maps, where sometimes you are in an area of great service, or sometimes you do have a ton of drive time that doesn't look like it's going to make sense. Kind of going back to the office, and is the office, or are you setting yourself up for failure on the day? Do you have to be, 60 miles somewhere within like 15 minutes, or else this customer is going to cancel? And are you calling the office and saying, hey, I'm looking at my day tomorrow, or I'm looking at my afternoon. I'm not going to be able to do this the way it's routed.
Yeah.
And vice versa. If you're the person scheduling, seeing that, are you just kind of, good luck, figure it out? Because I don't want to call the customer and tell them, hey, remember the conversation we had last week where I promised you they were going to be there at this time? I messed up.
Yeah.
But those are the conversations that need to happen.
Yeah, honestly. I mean, that's where, and this is, it goes, now we're kind of going back to the office.
My
but
bad.
No, you're totally fine, because that is exactly what we've been doing, right? We looked at your day yesterday. We saw a couple appointments that we could get done earlier. We called those customers to see if we can bump them up so that you were able to hit the other appointments that were later in the day. Now, the later in the day appointments ended up getting pushed onto another guy completely, and it alleviated everything. So you didn't even have to go out there.
No.
So, but that's what it goes back down to is, do you have a proactive office that is actually looking at everybody's day and paying attention to what's going on, or are they just sitting around gossiping in the office?
Yeah.
In hopes that the days will just get done how they are. It's what are you doing in the office? And then that's when some people say, well, why am I not getting paid more? Why am I not progressing here? Well, you're not doing anything. You're not standing out. You're not outstanding. It is what it is. But that's where the office needs to take a look and see that. Now, that also can go back on a tech.
Sure.
A tech could call and say, hey, can you call this person? I'm getting my days done. It looks like I'm going to get done way quicker than, normal. Can you call this person and get them done so I can just focus on my route? Or what I did in the past is I would actually call the next day, day's route, and start bumping them up onto my day now, because I'm going through them really fast.
Yeah.
And I was going to be out in that same area the next day. So it was start pulling them forward. So my next day was even lighter. Now that, once again, going back. I probably wouldn't do that if I was a route tech, because it doesn't make sense to eat away at my next day unless I'm trying to get done early or something like that. I did that as the owner operator, and I needed to get the day done, and that was my 6 day working, and I didn't want to do another 20 appointments. And so I might as well just pull them up so I could get done a little bit earlier and have a longer weekend, right? Or I have more time in the office that Saturday afternoon.
Yeah.
You know, so when you're looking at some of those, that's what it is. And that's working hard too, right? So you are going to put in those reps, but you're also going to eat away at appointments that don't need to be done later.
Yeah.
You can do them now. But that's what a proactive technician would do, is he's seeing those things and he's pulling timeframes up. He's getting to stops on time. If it's a 6 a.m. start and he can start hitting appointments, he's getting there at 5:45, 5:50, and he's spraying the outside waiting for someone to show up, because that's what I did.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I don't have time to wait for your guy or to show up right at 5 and then start spraying as they're already opened.
Right.
It's like, no, I'm showing up prior to that open time, and I'm already checking the bait stations and spraying before you even open up the door. And that goes to even just a residential home, right? When I walk up, and that first interaction with the customer is I have the Weber pole in my hand ready to de-web. As I ring your doorbell, I'm already de-webbing your front door and around the window and everything in that first little section prior to you even showing up to the door. So I'm already getting a portion of the work done, you know, and sometimes I'll even start hitting some of the bushes on the way up to the door if I see webs.
Sure.
So I don't have to hit those later, you know, and then the interaction with the customers, that is the first and the last interaction I want to have with that customer.
Beautiful.
Unless they need the inside done. And once again, I don't even tell them. I want them to tell me. And so it's, have you been seeing anything? No. Perfect. I'll get the whole service done. Back gate's unlocked. Good to go. Yep, it's unlocked. Ready to go. Awesome. I won't bug you again. But did you want me to leave a door tag on your door, or do you just want the email notification? And they're like, oh, just the email notification. That's fine. So now I don't even have to walk back up to the door. I can spray the entire home. I can de-web the entire home, and I can go and get in my truck and drive off. 10 minutes. Done. It's that easy.
It is.
You know, so what are you doing? Let's say that you do have to leave the door, you know, the door tag. What do you do then? What do you do?
If I have to leave a door tag?
Yeah.
I make sure I'm doing a million things at once if I have to do things like that.
Okay.
You know, and that's why on the technician side, I think efficiency is my biggest thing. Like, there's so many unaccounted minutes that guys can potentially waste. We'll talk about the door tag example before I dive too deep into it. Say I'm talking to a customer and they're like, actually, can you leave my door tag? I have to do X, Y, Z, you know, or I need to submit it. Let's say it's like a restaurant or something, or they need it. So I'm like, cool, I'm gonna get the service done. I get the service done and I'm like, okay, I just sprayed my chemicals. I know that my handheld I have to refill. I'm going to start refilling that as I'm doing the door tag. I'm going to look at my next stop. Is it a call ahead? Do I have to text this person on my way? Do I have the material ready to go? And I'm doing all these things sort of together. Not that I'm rushing, but I'm like, hey, if I'm going to be sitting here doing this, I'm going to make sure that I can get as much done in this like 4 to 5 minutes as I possibly can.
Yeah.
You know?
No, and you know, I did that with some of the restaurant runs. You know, we leave door tags. And so what I would do is I go count all the restaurants. If it's 14, 16, whatever it is that night, I go and grab 16 door tags. On some of those, we have to drive actually quite a bit. So at a gas station, I'm filling up the truck. And usually this is the time that most guys will waste a lot. And once again, it goes back to the mentality. I didn't have time to waste. I didn't have 15 minutes to sit and do nothing, right? There wasn't that there. Yeah. It was, you got 20 appointments, 24 appointments. You have to hurry. You got to get it done. You are trying to race the sun. Yeah. And so what I would do is I would actually take those door tags and I would write my name on all of them. So my name is already done. If I could do a date, I would put out the dates. And I already knew what the chemical was on the inside because it's the same on every single one, right? So I'm marking all the chemicals. Now some of them have bait stations, some of them don't. So I'm not putting the rodenticide on there yet, but I have all of those tags ready to go. So all I have to do is write down a time, done. I'm done. Gas station, I start filling up my truck. I'm running inside. I go to the bathroom. I get what I need to get. I jump back out in my vehicle. I start filling out door tags. So I'm maximizing that time. And if you are in California, gas pumps are like the slowest freaking thing in the world. So you have 10 minutes anyway now because it's like it trickles into your tank. I don't know why it's so freaking slow.
Yeah.
But you have that time. I'm filling up my backpack sprayer sometimes while I'm at a gas station. I'm sure people are looking at me like I'm crazy.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, hey, I am getting ready for these next couple of doors right now.
Yeah.
So I can get these stops done as quickly as possible and as efficiently as possible. Once again, as a route tech, I may not do those things because you don't need to cut an hour off of your day, and it's not necessary unless it is you're working towards something. You're trying to get that stuff. Now, in the grand scheme of things, I'm still working harder, even if I was a route tech.
Sure.
So even on days that I had less appointments and I could go a little bit slower, as I'm filling out a door tag, walking up to the door, my backpack sprayer is filling. And then I'm tagging the door and I'm walking back. Backpack should be full by then. And I'm done.
Yeah.
Close everything up, hop in the truck, and I'm driving to the next one.
Yeah.
Right? So it's just getting those things done, and you are doing a million things at once to try to get that ready. Also, as I'm closing out of a house in the system, I'm already looking at the next house. Do I need a call? Actually, the next couple of houses. I'm always looking through it, right? Do I need to collect money? I'm already seeing that. What's on my day? Is it a one-time service? Is it a regular service? Is it a new customer? Is it interior treatments? Is my B&G full? That's another big one that we didn't actually hit prior to the day. Did you look through all your appointments to see if you had an interior service? Because how many times have you been caught with a empty B&G and you're like, oh, crap, I got to do the interior service. And I didn't fill my B&G up.
Yeah.
It's happened to me so many times, even at restaurants.
Yeah.
And it's like, crap, now I got to go in. I got to use their sink and water and fill up. And it's like, oh, apartment complexes. And so I started getting smart. And it was in the morning. So I made sure my tank was filled and my B&G was ready to go. And I was doing that actually like 45 minutes before I even had to leave. So I had plenty of time to make sure I had everything ready.
Nice.
And then by the time I showed up, B&G's ready to go, full and already with chemical in it. Backpack sprayer is already full with chemical in it, ready to go. So all I have to do is throw it on, spray.
That's it.
Yeah. What else can we see, or think of with technicians, or what have you seen now? Because we're a lot different than we were back then, and you weren't part of that episode, but is there anything that we're missing or leaving out that you can think of to work, smarter and not harder?
On the quality control ride-alongs that I go on.
Okay.
So we have ride-alongs with all the guys about every 60 days. And you're right. I appreciate when you say things like, well, as a route tech, I would do this. As an owner-operator, I would do this. Because it is different.
Yeah.
However, if you are a technician who is looking to advance and looking to add more value to yourself, or maybe you do get paid like a commission or a production on your day, if you're doing some specialty work, I'll give you guys a bad example, or it's a good example of something that didn't really go well, or we didn't realize what was going on. So I was riding with this tech, and he's particularly slower. Just in general, it takes a little bit longer at appointments, so we kind of wanted to figure out what's going on. So he would pull up to the house, look at the app, take a drink of water, turn off the truck. He's like, let me look for my glasses. Okay, I got my glasses on. Let me look at the day again. He goes in the appointment. He's like, all right, what's this person's name? Do they have this? What am I doing here? He's like, okay. So he gets out of the truck, and he's going in. He's looking at his chemicals, and he's like, okay, got the backpack ready, B&G ready. Okay, let me walk up to the door. He knocks up to the door. Knocks. He's just sitting there, Customer comes up, and the interaction's actually not that long, surprisingly, because I was waiting for like this 10, 15-minute conversation.
Yeah.
You know, a little side note, you know, I usually in the first half of the ride along, I'm just like a fly on the wall. I just want to observe people in their natural element.
Yeah.
Unless it gets out of hand, then I'm like, okay, this is crazy. Which it got to that point at this appointment. I'm like one of the first couple of appointments.
Yeah.
I was talking to the customer, and they were like, oh, okay, we actually have some stuff on the inside. Can you take a look? The technician's like, oh, let me go back to the truck and grab some shoe covers. So he walks back to the truck, grabs some shoe covers, goes back in, looks at the insect, talks to them about it, goes back outside, gets his backpack, sprays the outside of the house. And it's just like, it was too painful for me to watch. It was too painful. Because, like you said, if I'm going up to the door with my Weber, I always have a pair of shoe covers in this one pocket. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I always have like the door tag in my back pocket just in case. So someone's like, hey, can you take a look at something? I'm like, awesome. Let me throw my shoe covers so I can come in real quick. Boom, boom, boom. Cool. We just need the garage treated. Okay, you're going to leave it open? I was like, I can close it on the way out for you so I don't have to bug you again. I do that all the time.
Yeah.
So I'll like just hit it and like do the thing where I jump over the laser, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
But the point is there's so many unaccounted minutes for if you're not doing things smart. Now, there is an extreme where it can be a negative. We also had a guy who was trying to be done within 3 hours on 18 appointments a day.
And he did it.
No, seriously, I shit you not. I've never seen anything like it. On a surface, he literally pulled up to the house, almost forgot to turn the truck off, but he jumps out, puts on his backpack sprayer. He has the Weber. He's spraying and de-webbing as he's walking up to the home. Knocks, goes and starts doing the service. And I'm like, easy. I'm like, I know you're trying to get the day done. I know you're trying to be efficient. Too much.
Well, you create more problems.
Too much.
Yeah. And that's the thing that you have to understand as a route technician. Are you going too fast? Mm-hmm. There is a point where you have to understand that you can't go faster than that. And we can go into an example of a NASCAR race or a Formula One race. Can you gas it the entire time and probably go faster than you should? Mm-hmm. Yes, you can. But what does that mean? Your miles per gallon go down to nothing. Mm-hmm. And because of that, you're pit stopping more often than everybody else. So just because you can go faster than everyone does not mean you're going to win the race, because now you have to stop more often. Mm-hmm. And you are taking seconds that those people are winning. Mm-hmm. You go on a long trip. And I did this. I was going to Texas. I was driving 90 to 100 miles an hour the entire time. We stopped one time, and my manager was driving 65, 75, the speed limit. He passed us at one stop because I stopped once, and he caught up to us within a 15-minute span.
Wow.
You know, so you think that you can go so fast and you're going to get so far ahead of everybody, but it creates so many more problems, which then pulls you back. So all these steps of progression ends up pulling you back. This kid, that's exactly what happened, right? He was going so fast, he'd have callbacks. Multiple in a day. And then he'd get frustrated that he had to go back to a person's house. I already did that house. I did it. And it's like, hey, dude, you went too fast. You knocked and then ran around the house. Like, what do you expect? You didn't even give him time to show up. I mean, he was getting stops done in 3 to 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, you didn't give them enough time to actually come and answer the door. If they would have saw your face, you could have ran. But they didn't see you.
Yeah.
So now you got to go back. You got to do the backyard. Mm-hmm. You got to go back. You got to redo the entire home.
Yeah.
You know, so he created more work in the end, which then would extend his days or cancel appointments, you know, and it became an issue.
Yeah.
You know, so you definitely have to take that into consideration as you are going in and you're starting to take these appointments and going faster.
Yeah.
You know, and you are efficient. One thing I was going to add into this, I don't think about it because I just do it. But as you were saying it, I was like, oh, wait, we do have to hit on this. Organization is huge. Not organization as an organization, being organized.
Thank you.
is huge. My door tags are in the same spot in every truck I'm in. And if they're not, I move them. Okay. I know exactly where my door tags are. I know exactly where my gloves are. I know exactly where the pins are. I know exactly where my shoe covers are. I know exactly where the glue boards are. I know where everything is so I can go out and get it.
Yeah.
I know the level that they stand at, so I know if I'm empty or if I'm full. And when I'm empty, I lie to the customer and tell them, let me go check.
Yeah.
Which I probably shouldn't, because that's going against working smarter, not harder. I should probably just tell them in the moment, hey, I ran out at my last appointment. Unfortunately, I don't have any more.
Yeah.
Depending on how the customer's acting, if they're like a little bit more frustrated, heated, it's like, hey, let me go check. Let me double check. I'm pretty sure I'm out, but let me go see. So it looks like I'm working more, right? But understanding where everything is and how quickly we can get that stuff done is a huge, huge help to closing that gap of working hard and not smart. Yeah. If your truck is all over the place, you don't know where anything is, it's a freaking mess. How are you going to grab stuff? You're going to be sitting there pulling stuff apart. And I've done this because I've hopped in other guys' trucks. I get to an appointment and they're like, oh, hey, can I get some glue boards? I'm like, yeah, let me go run. And I go and check my normal spot. And of course they're not there. I'm like, God, crap, where's this crap? And then I'm just like pulling stuff out. And then I get frustrated because now I'm just throwing shit all over the place. Because I'm like, where are these glue boards? And then they got them back in the chem bin.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why?
Like up in the mirror.
Yeah. They're just like hidden somewhere. Yeah. It's like, what are we doing? Mm-hmm. Door tags, who knows where they are? Some are over on this door, some are on the other door, some are in the back. And if that's what that's okay.
Yeah.
But it was, and that it's frustrating to me because I'm organized in that way of, I know where everything is exactly. I know where all my snap traps are. I know where the peanut butter is to put on them. I know everything.
Yeah.
So when I'm hopping in my vehicle, I know exactly where it all sits, and it makes that process go so much smoother and quicker. Mm-hmm. And you look a lot better.
That's true.
And you're not frustrated either because you know exactly where everything is.
Yeah.
And if you have your vehicle that you take home and you show up to the office once a week or twice a week to restock, are you going through your weeks and making sure you have enough product on your vehicle?
Yeah, it's a good one.
It's a huge one because I have it and I've had it where we'd have guys out of the main chemical we spray on the exterior of every single home, they would run out. And now we've prevented it. Mm-hmm. You just got to top it off every single week. Mm-hmm. I don't care. You have to fill it up.
Yeah.
Because I am not having you show up midweek because it's like, oh, I forgot. It's like, no. We're done doing that. So it's, and that goes into management, right? Is some of the processes that you create, you can either create a process that makes everything a lot smoother and faster, or you make it a lot harder and more difficult. And there is some limits, right? Is a guy grabbing 5 boxes of glue boards? Probably doesn't need that many, right? Because then that now is going to create a problem for you because now you're reordering stuff so frequently that because everybody's just grabbing whatever they want, so you do have to have a check and balance, but keeping that to where it is, are you locked and loaded for everything? What we do in the office is we're going through the weeks and seeing what do these guys need throughout the week? Are they prepared? So we're doing orders, we're getting stuff ready for guys to go pick up for specialty jobs, ready to go prior to that job. So they know, hey, we're ready to go.
Yeah.
And then it's done. It's already easy. It's ordered. They just got to go, show up, pick it up, and go. Mm-hmm. And so doing that on the management side is another big help to prevent that from happening, and something I've worked on, into the office and focusing on the office is, am I giving the office all the tools they need to be able to answer those questions? I know we went office tech and management. It should have been management, office tech, but going to management is, are you allowing them to make those decisions without being scared, of the consequence of making the wrong? And that's what you have to work on a consistent level, to make sure that they can do that.
Yeah.
Is there anything else before we come to a close? I know this was a little bit quicker episode. Anything else we want to throw out there? Any other tips?
Yeah, I got one for management and I got one in general.
Perfect.
If you're a manager, things don't just become better by themselves. No. You want the best for guys. You want the best for your customers. You want the best for your team. You're going to have to work smart and put in the work and make those tough decisions, whether it's training, whether it's discipline, whether it's new systems. You know, you got a guy who can't freaking show up on time any day, and you're like, oh man, let's just kind of nudge him in the right direction. Let's just hope he gets better. It's like, no, set the standard. It's like, hey, you agree that you're going to get to your stops within this time. You do it again, I'm writing you up. Fair? Fair. Mm-hmm. And you move on. Yeah. Don't think about it. Like the Jeff Bezos thing you were saying, you're not dealing with stuff in the moment. It's going to compile and you're going to get stressed and you're going to just hate your life. Deal with it in the moment. For just in general, I'd say it applies more to the office and management than it does to technicians. And you hear me say it a ton. People are sick of me saying it, but going back to F1 and NASCAR, something for my productivity I've always done, and it's helped me, is going fast in the slow parts and going slow in the fast parts. So when it was brought up to me from the F1 side of it, when things are going crazy and you're going really fast, you make very little incremental turns and do things very carefully so that you don't make any mistakes. When things are very slow and it's wide turns, however you word it, that's when you gun it and that's when you make up for it. Now, how it relates to pest control, if you're in the office, phones are dead, no one's calling in, texts are quiet. Are you playing Candy Crush? Or are you scrolling? You know what I mean? It's
yes,
like, or are you doing the things that take up a lot of your time, like the collection calls, the billing, the invoices, sending out all that stuff. So that way when someone does call in, you have two phones ringing, you can stop and you can be fully present and do everything correctly and accurately. Because when it does slow down again, that's when you can fire off.
Yeah. And adding on to that just a little bit, I won't go too far into it. Sometimes when you are creating a system, it's not smart. You have to work hard. It takes a lot of time, takes a lot of effort. It's very slow. It's very long. But the idea is once it's done, it's going to work out and it's going to make everything easier. A car was not easy to build. It wasn't easy to figure out. It was difficult. But if they could figure it out, it would progress the world, and it did, and everybody else tenfold because you no longer needed a horse and carriage.
Yeah.
Right? Airplane, same thing, same concept. You can now get across the world in 11 hours, 12 hours, and you're literally on the other side of the world that quick. So the process to get there was very difficult, was very long, was very hard.
Yeah.
So understand that when we are talking about this episode is sometimes the process and creating that process is long. It's hard. It's difficult. It's not going to be smart necessarily. You're going to have to go through trial and error. But once you get it and you find it, now that process creates something so much easier that you now don't have to go back and you're not backtracking. It's actually speeding everything up and making everything easier.
Yeah.
So understand that is when you're looking at this, if you're a management role, that you're going to be focusing more on that side of it, than office and technician. But, where a tech can actually work smarter, not harder, the manager may actually have to be, they're going to be creating those systems that is going to be hard, but it will create a system to make people work smarter instead of harder.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. So guys, 2024 has been all about growth, work smarter, not harder. Please, you guys have our email. You have our social media. We love to hear from you. We do this all for free as a hobby on the side of the business. Please send in your questions for the end of the month Q&A. We haven't had a pest guest in a while. So guys, you want to come on the show?
Yeah.
Message us. I mean, we went through like a couple months where it was like back to back to back and maybe we scared everybody off, but I promise it's not as bad as it seems when you guys are listening. But thank you again for listening to the DNA Pest Control Podcast.